All right. Have you guys been able to load that form correctly? Has anybody already submitted their questions? Oh, I see a ton of them here already. All right. I would love for you guys to introduce yourselves, but I do want to specifically welcome some of the new additions to Sonic Expo as an entity, because I know that we've had some of you guys at our events and some of you guys at other events, but I know that we have two really new faces that you guys have been dying to meet and dying to have at a Sonic Expo. I'd like you two in the center to just introduce yourselves.
I'm David Wills. I was the voice of Espio. I'm Dan Green.
Dan Green! My favorite voice actor.
To portray Knuckles. And,
Let's hear it for Knuckles!
Knuckles!
I'm very proud to say I'm among the many fine Knuckles out there, and also Mephiles.
And Mephiles from other games.
I just want to say on behalf of my entire team, the volunteers, the managers, all the different vendors that come together to make Expo an amazing thing that it is, which is only real because of the people that are in front of us, and only passion that we have developed from this because of the creative expression you have brought and injected into this franchise, because you guys are a part of this equation just as much as they are. It's a little cyclical thing, right? You give, they give, and we all work together, and that's just how this whole...
I heard about something like that in the Phantom Menace.
Yeah, you got it. I just want to welcome you to the Sonic Expo family. The best way to explain it is that you can never leave now, I'm sorry. It's not a revolving door. There are chains.
And whips.
I can't take you anywhere. So we're going to go ahead and say welcome to Sonic Expo to our two new faces. Everybody together.
Thank you.
1, 2, 3. Welcome to Sonic Expo.
Thank you.
And now we have some very, very familiar faces on the far side and on the
Tired faces, I think is what they know. Old faces.
Hey guys, Pete Capella, original voice of Silver the Hedgehog.
Jason Griffin, and I just found out that I voiced Darkspine Sonic for the first time today. So you guys are Darkspine Sonic, evidently. I don't know. And Sonic the Shadow, Jen Warehog, and Professor Pickle's assistant, evidently.
I'm Professor Pickle!
We can't forget about these two lovely people.
Switch. I know how to use a mic. Hey, I'm Amy Birnbaum, and I am the voice of Cosmo and Charlie.
I knew I missed that.
And I am Lisa Ortiz, and I am the voice of Amy Rose.
Rose and Steve. Hey,
It's amazing to have you guys. Thank you for coming out to this panel. I know that you guys just spent a nice long day meeting a bunch of amazing attendees. But now you all get to sit down here and just answer some fun questions. You guys don't have to worry about sitting up, sitting down, sitting up, sitting down. You just get to sit here and chill and relax, and then let all these people give you all the love in the world. Not that they have to give you the love.
These are very comfortable couches, by the way.
I'm half napping, actually.
Damn these guys, I'm sorry.
But still, pretty charming, right?
So we can actually just go ahead and jump straight into the questions. I think this one's a really interesting one. Do you generally prefer voiceover in video games or TV series or any other specific type of media?
Well, I'll jump in. I actually had a conversation with somebody at the table about this earlier today, and it's the same job. You're acting, you're making a moment happen for your character so it happens for the audience, right? There are parameters that are different when you're dubbing something, and sometimes with video games you're just doing it at a timing, but there's no real mouth movement to match, and that frees you up in certain ways. But ultimately, the job of the actor is more similar than different, whether it's a cartoon or a video game, or even doing it in a different way. If you're acting on stage, or acting on camera, or acting on mic. It's all principally the same thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a lot of times I do a lot of dubbing, like foreign TV shows, foreign films into English, live action. So these are things that have been shot in Spain or Mexico, and then just putting like English into it. And a lot of times I'll do something, especially in the reactions that you do, that I'm like, oh, I would have done that for a video game. And it works in this context too. So it's really just, I think, a shift of your mind to, you know, yeah.
Also, it depends on the style. It's not like all video games are the same style, or cartoons, or, right, you know? So if it's realistically oriented, you're channeling it differently.
I think the one fun thing about a TV show versus a video game is the idea that you get to continue the character. Like, continue to play multiple episodes. Like, if you're in a fully episodic TV show, like if you're, you know, I don't know,
Yuki from Yu-Gi-Oh!
You get to do as many episodes as they let you do, and I think that's a really lovely thing compared to, like, you know, that one-shot video game type of thing.
I will say, yeah, I think that is what I will say. I was having this conversation about directing as opposed to this just 2 days ago with another director. And I think the one thing, I think all of that is completely true, but the one thing that I will say is fun is doing a TV show, depending if you're doing it like prelay, that's different. You have the freedom to be able to do stuff the same way you do on stage. But sometimes in video games, you're doing banks of reactions of things, so you may not always know what's going on in that particular scene. So you're kind of like, you gotta give something that kind of can work for a couple of different things. So in that way, it's kind of fun. Sometimes I think it is kind of fun to be able to see it, even though that's not, it's fun to create it, it's fun to have that, but it's also sometimes it's fun to be able to see it like on a TV show. Yeah, and you know exactly what's going on, so you can kind of like do that as opposed to.
Hold on, my phone.
Who is it? Tell me some hey.
So over your career of doing wonderful, amazing voices, do you ever have times when you think that you have an ad-lib that still to this day sits in your mind and you're like, oh, this is funny. I remember. Or just some sort of thing that keeps coming back, some ad-lib that you remember.
Yeah, this line was not go fast. I just, on the spot, came up with that. And I was like, they should keep that. And then
she's saying that. I've actually never heard of it.
honestly, I don't think so. I don't know.
I would say sometimes if you had to give a reaction, I might accidentally go, what the? You know, or for any character to say, what the? And that is not something that you would really love to say. Because it's not followed by anything clean or complete. So they edit it out. So that was an outtake that didn't get kept.
The scripts were pretty tight, and it's a dubbing process too, so those words have been parsed over, and certainly given the line that they wrote. Speaking of reactions, one of my favorite things was a relative of mine was coming to work with me, and it was an episode of Sonic X, and I had done the dialogue for nothing when we were doing these reactions. So my family member was sitting in the control room where the engineers are, and behind mine. And they showed me a sequence of Knuckles doing a variety of things, jumping up on something, smacking something else, getting hit by a laser blast, or whatever. There's like maybe 7 or 8 different moments where you're running along, So, and they showed it to me once, we went to record, nailed it, right? And that family member of mine was like, you really are good.
That implies that they doubted you at one point?
No, they knew I was good. They didn't know how good. I mean, 7 reactions in a row.
I feel like a lot of you have been around for a great amount of time to build such an amazing legacy for all the characters that you have. And I think that really just shows.
Cool way to call us old.
Yeah. You know that I was just called.
I prefer vintage.
And
Classic. We get you all the license plates or we'll register.
historic.
Everybody has their origin story for how they got into acting or how they got into any sort of either performance or creative work. Do you guys have a story about how you got into acting that you'd like to share?
I played Tom Turkey in my 2nd grade play. I did. But mine, I was also very proud.
I was an athlete in high school, and then I blew my knee out, and then I discovered I was funny. And I did improv comedy, got paid to do improv comedy, which is unheard of, from the age of 15 to the age of 30. In a theater in New Jersey that was just life-changing. It went from me being like the dude who thought he was going to play soccer for the rest of his life, which is ridiculous, to like being a creative and really discovering who I was. And so I thank improv comedy for creating me as an actor, and I went fully immersed in that. So yeah, that's my story.
I have a lot of you have heard my origin story, which is that my brother stole my car. That was it, but I was in school at the time, and so I did not do improv. I could come up with something better than that, but that's what I wound up with in life. What happened is I had mono. I wound up staying home from school. I was studying acting. I had to take a semester off. While I was there, my car also had mono. The battery died. My brother came. He took my car. He drove it off. I told him not to. I came down. My car was missing. His keys were gone. He calls. I'm like, hey. He's like, hey. I'm like, Jeremy, where's my car? And he's like, your car is really damaged. I'm like, yeah, that's why you're not going to my car. And he's like, okay, well, it's in George's house. And he hung up the phone. And then I was like, who's George? And so then the next person we called was his best friend, Rob, who was like, he called, asked for him, and I'm like, do you know who George is? He's like, yes, I do. And it turned out that he was interning at a company called Sonic Media. And at the time, they were looking for actors. And I was like, he's like, do you know anybody who would want to do that? And I was like, actually, yeah, I'm doing it. And so the first audition that I ever had was for a show called Brother Lotus War. And I went, thank you! The prototype for a lot of albums from the first D&D sort of anime that was there. I played a high elf called Dealet. And my first professional words were, ew, it's moldy. That is how my career began.
I probably can't help anybody's story, but I was involved in a radio comedy troupe, and so I was put on a radio comedy. And one of the members of the troupe, my friend Sean, said, there's this show that started on MTV called Celebrity Deathmatch. All these celebrities were claymation after fighting each other, and would you be into doing that because you do celebrity impressions? And I went, would I? Well, I didn't do a regular per se, but I specialized. You know what I specialized in? I specialized in doing celebrity impressions of celebrities who existed before there was recording. So I did George Washington. I did Sherlock Holmes. I nailed it. And after that, it was, a hop, skip, and a jump, literally, for 4 kids.
Wait, who was the first celebrity you played on Celebrity? You can't leave us hanging. Who was the first celebrity you played on Celebrity Deathmatch?
The first celebrity I played was, he's not really a celebrity, it was Ken Starr. Oh, yeah. Ken Starr, who was going after Bill Clinton at the time. And it was, I forget, I had a line something like, I know what you're up to, Slick Willie. That's exactly how we said it. And then later on, I did members of the Thing, and then Kiss, and
I would like to say I auditioned for Celebrity Deathmatch about 4,000 times. I never got cast. I couldn't do impressions of it. Except that Herbert Hoover. Never came up. Oh, that's hard. But you have a fantastic album. You can't have a Celebrity Deathmatch of a celebrity who's been dead. So that would be even well. This is it. Well, yeah, that's right. You might be able to still like a million Earhart and find points. Yeah. There's a story I've told a lot, so I won't tell that story. But something I was reminded of today is I had never done anything in voiceovers that was as big as Sonic until Sonic. I had been cast in commercials, cream commercials, little bits and pieces here and there, and
want to say like a month before the Sonic audition even came up, I was cast in something at that studio that was up in like Irvington. Georgia. And I'm pretty sure it was that studio. If not, I'm mistaken. But I was cast as the lead in this series that I cannot remember the name of now. And I was thrilled. I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. It's paying $50 an hour or something like that, and I was just, I'll be able to buy like chicken parmesan. I was just thinking of all the food I could buy, when you're a broke actor, you think of jobs in terms of food and sandwiches. And without even going into the studio, a couple days later, they called to fire me. They said, my agent said, they realized that you've never worked on anything before, so they don't want to take their chances in putting you in this part. And I was devastated. So when the audition for Sonic,
They're going to pay you 2 chicken parms and a side of fries.
and so many bags of potato chips, man.
Oh, I can imagine.
Didn't they do some stuff from Deathmatch in the building that was there? Maybe it was a conspiracy. I think the artists were there. They knew you were coming.
This might not have been headlines.
You laughed at this, sorry.
When I finally did auditions for Sonic, who built it,
I thought you were laughing
headlines on it. But so I was crushed. And then when the audition for
this is a
Sonic
pretty
came
good
up, I
speech
thought,
being
obviously I'm not going to get
really
this
good
job
speech.
because this show that I've never heard of fired me without me even being in the studio. And so when I got Sonic, it was even a better. It was such a better feeling because of that, being let go of a show that I didn't get to step in the booth for prior than if I hadn't been fired before that. 7,497.
My story is not nearly as fun or interesting as any of you up here, but I may have told this last year. I got my first job in voiceovers working behind the scenes in kids media production. So I didn't know how to get into voiceovers. I always wanted to, and I figured it was too competitive. I'm just going to get as close as possible to media. And so I worked behind the scenes as a producer at a little known company called Scholastic. And I was a producer for a CD-ROM game called I Spy Spooky Mansion.
That's pretty good right there. High five, man. That's good. That's freaking good right there.
I love I Spy.
I mean, how hard is it to get there, man?
You were in the Wii version.
Hey, quick question. How hard is it to get there? I'm just asking.
It wasn't new, but we were producing this game, I Spy Spooky Mansion, and my boss at the time said, can you do the scratch audio for this game because we just need to, we're testing it for the kids and we need a voice actor or voiceover in there. So I did it and I gave it my all because I really wanted it. And then she said, okay, thank you. We're going to hire the professional voice actor. They hired it. That's Jason, I promise. And he recorded the whole thing. And the whole team said, you're better. We want to hire you as a Skelly. And so that was my first voice job, professional one, paid one. And my boss at the time, who's a good friend, was really good friends with someone named Michael Hayden. I don't know if you all know him, but he's the voice of my favorite Pokemon, Psyduck. He was running a recording studio called Tosh
Oh,
Productions.
do you like Psyduck sometimes?
And she introduced me and said, hey, Amy just did the voiceover for Skelly. You should have her come in and audition for some voiceovers. And he was like, okay. And that was my start in the 4Kids world.
I do want to read this real quick. Oh, please.
Good.
Voice actor Jason Griffith provided a voice for the riddle reader in the Wii version of I Spy Spooky Mansion.
Yes.
I feel like I should have got that.
I've had that game.
But really?
Yes.
The
CD-ROM version and the Wii version.
Yeah, that's the thing. I used to have the Wii, but I never got that game. So that kind of sucked for me. I used to have the Wii system, but I never actually played that game.
So for me, I guess it all started when I was bit by a radioactive actor. After that,
Mike Butler.
we won't get into details. Lawsuits are still pending, but but I went to Mexico School of the Arts. It's a part of Rutgers University. There I met Anthony Hayden Salerno, who I blame for my entree into anime. So we were classmates together after graduation. He was directing some anime for Taj Productions and for Central Park Media. And he had some background voices he needed to fill in. He said, hey, you want to cover some of this stuff for me? I said, maybe, can I see it? I looked at it. It didn't look great. I said, I don't know. He said, it pays $50 an hour. I said, I'll be there every day. For me, that was like 10,000 action figures. No, I'm kidding. And that stuff was being done at the same studio cost productions of Pokemon. As I understand it, somebody overheard my voiceover and I interest and stuff, and that's how I am known to you.
I really love this guy.
In these two stories, I mentioned this at the table. You ask everybody that's on the other side of the table how to get there. At some point, their story is going to involve luck. They may not say those exact words. Now they have ability, they have talent. They're the real deal, but they got the luck. And there are so many talented people I know that never got that. So I feel particularly grateful.
This audience knows you for a lot of fantastic voices, right? But if you could choose a voice from something completely not for what you're known for here, a different character, from a different franchise, from a different world, different universe, doesn't have to be video games, it could be anything. Do you guys have a specific character in mind that you would love to be one day?
I will never take Cal Dodd's job, but I would literally kill everyone in this room to play Wolverine.
He's a kid. You just heard that he's gonna play Wolverine. They all gotta do is do that.
Or live action.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie, Wolverine's awesome, along with Deadpool, so it would make sense if that was possible.
I want to voice the live action version of whatever's sitting under that heat lamp back there on the buffet. Give it some eyes, give it a mouth, give it some legs, I'll give it a voice. French toast stick.
Is that another idea that was on one of your tabs that you researched?
I'd like to voice chicken parmesan.
Chicken Parmesan.
No, for me it would be like.
Hey, chicken. Oh, yeah.
I'm a big comic fan. Off the cuff, Lex Luthor, Magneto.
That's pretty good.
You should 100% be Magneto.
But you said be my Neo? Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot. You just have to want strong. Because X-Men hit the villain. I think you gotta be my favorite villain. I mean, I haven't watched much X-Men in a long time, so I just want to finish that.
You gotta get you a session in Jam Zone?
Okay, so this is gonna be a weird one for Amy because I would love to do anything in Marvel. I would love to do anything in like any of the Disney Duck universe, but right now I haven't.
DuckTales, yeah.
I would love to be Cascadia in Dungeon Color Car and just be like, if you don't know what that means, that's fine. You should get a cat. They will talk to you sometime.
I'm certain there's so many amazing lines that you have said on the scripts that have just, the script is there, you gotta read the script with these lines. But were there ever any lines that you said that just totally didn't make you cut your like, that was such a good one. Or I thought that line was such a good line. They're all just
Who can remember that?
That's exactly what it's not like you did a play, right? And where you commit to the language night after night and weeks before that, and hours before that when you're auditioning for the part that you hopefully get. But the stuff that we record is like, here it is, say it, you said it, good, yes! But sometimes, what's so wonderful about getting to spend time with you guys is we see what we did reflected back through you and what hit and what mattered. you know, and the lines that are meaningful. I mean, there are lines that I remember from the show, but there weren't enough moments where I was like, there was this one line that because I also wasn't watching myself all the episodes, right, all the time. For the first year or so, I was like, do I suck? Maybe I don't suck. Okay. But, you know, so that's why I told you the context for it.
I think there's about 6,700 versions of It'd be like a reaction, and be like, that's great, can you give it to us with a little more anger? Like, oh, okay, now with joy. Ah! And then you're like, they're on the cutting room floor, because I don't know which one's the hit. I feel like we're all in that same boat. I once tried to have it with Sonic. Sonic! 5 times in a row. I tried it 8, and they cut 3 of them. Sonic,
You know,
I'm sad.
I just remember lines I wish I came up with a little bit.
Everything Jason and I said were brilliant. So
I once requested for all of Pete and Jason's lines to be cut into beautiful sort of tapestries. That's what I
and they are on the walls of Lisa's home. I've seen it.
They are, yeah. That's why they don't come over.
Are there any lines that the community has reminded you of that you're like, oh, I said what? Are you crazy?
I just love my 2 minutes. That's how Sonic X. That's
It's so funny because the next question I was looking at was just, Shadow, why do you want to go to Mexico? And the funniest part is that, like, that's not a bit, that's on the sheet. Somebody out there just heard me say it. It was like, that was my question! Alright, this one's a little out of the realm of anything acting related or any of your job related, but it's so fun. Do you guys have a top 3 favorite desserts? The answer is yes.
Okay, not necessarily in this order. Creme brulee, cannolis, brownies.
Wait, I thought cannoli would be more of Italian salt kind.
pecan pie, pecan pie, strawberry rhubarb pie, and anything ice cream. Is that what you're talking about? Anything bagel? Anything ice cream? A lot of sesame seeds in there.
Mint chocolate brownie. Chocolate chip cookies are classic, but especially when they're little.
I think let that one be on.
And the tears are coming.
You know, I like to eat frosting right out of it. I use it for plastic goods. And then, pecan pie.
I was like, you both write your own. I love pecan pie, and I also like creme brulee. But my favorite thing is monkey business ice cream from Handles.
Wow, chunky monkey.
Right next to my house, and that's a travesty for my parents. I also love anything dark chocolate. Anything dark chocolate is delicious. And like the third one is like it needs to be like rotated. But yeah, and then whatever anyone bakes fresh. That's just it depends on where you're from. I will say pecan. If here it's pecan. From New York.
What about from Sweden?
From Sweden, it is pie.
probably a really delicious bag of Kit Kats that I shared with a bunch of people today. That was nice. Oh yeah, hey, thank you.
Hey, fence. We got fence support.
I would go with two that I don't eat anymore. Would be triple berry a la mode and spumoni ice cream. And and then the one I do eat that I shouldn't probably is chunky peanut butter straight from the container.
Just the thing. Just the thing. No less.
I actually scoop it into my finger and rub it on my hands.
We're not trying to ever we'll get you like a chair and a fountain. Take your head back. Yeah, it'll be a
Great finger.
Did you guys know that Sonic 06, the 3D game that they made in 2006, that we all love that game, right? Did you guys know or have any understanding of like the sentiment of when that game came out and how people felt about it?
First of all, I heard some boos.
They weren't about you. They were about you.
So I told this already a couple of times at the table today. A few years ago, very enthusiastic fan cosplaying as Sonic character. You know, my table and asked him, "Hey, did you do Knuckles?" I said, "Who?" and it's not Knuckles, you know, from Sonic. I'm like, Sonic, not what, like in the game? Oh, you mean the puppet guy? She said, "Yes." Oh yeah, because we were talking about this earlier. For me, it was one session, right? Maybe it was two, but like video games, as another, talked about earlier in the conversation, they're very free. You know, it was kind of sensitive, right? You don't live with it day after day. So, no is my answer. Like, I barely even remember it. It's not because I didn't think it was cool. And I'm delighted to see how many people respond to my name.
I was so excited about the game when I bought it when it came out, and I had a non-glitchy copy. And then I left for Los Angeles and booked something, and so I never looked at that game again. They just kept booking me for the next 10 games. And so I was, as far as I knew, everyone loved that game. And then I found out later on that it wasn't received as well as it should have been. And, but I think that was a better way to look at it because now I love that people love it for the glitches. Like, I think that's part of the charm, right? You would never get an It's No Use if it wasn't for the glitches. You would have gotten one and you would have never heard it again. Yeah, I once. It's just you get caught in a loop. And so we said, It's No Use. Yeah, it's a glitch. Yeah, that's it. This has never played a Sonic game ever. What's a Sonic game? They take spumoni ice cream and cheese bars.
So there's this really fun debate that happens in the Sonic community. It has to do with how you pronounce a certain stage from a classic game. And these guys are going to hate where you go in this direction. You can argue what's the stage, by the way. Oh, 100%. That's right. Well, you can drop it, right? If something comes up. Lisa will help. These are actually our bodyguards for the camera.
Yes, they're very, very, very violent.
So, do you guys know
Throw Amy at you.
We're talking about this water stage, yes? Okay. So there's two ways you pronounce it that is commonly known. It's either hydrocity or hydrocity. Now, I'm going to explain the logic behind why people go one way or the other, and you guys are going to tell me which side you want to be on. And this will determine how everybody feels about it for the rest of your life. So the logic behind Hydro City is that it's a city of water. The logic behind hydrocity is that in a Sonic game, it is a play on words for velocity, but still having the hydro at at the start.
And then it's one word.
I'm sure you have 17 other reasons why for another, but we're going to boil it down to those two, and you're going to have to be okay with that. You might be right, but that's boring, so we're going to have a new answer.
Not to get all words and stuff, but how is it spelled?
H-Y-D-R-O-C-I-T-Y.
Is there a space?
No.
Negative.
Can you use it?
I can use it in a sentence. I was delayed on my flight, and I had to pee really bad. When I got relief, it was cheap. It was top hydrosity.
That's an adjective.
I was delayed on my flight, and I had to pee really bad. And when I finally got back to it became Hydro City. I was delayed on my flight, and I had to pee really bad, but I never got up, so I had to Hydro City.
What's your version? Everyone on the road.
Wait. On the count of three, yell out what you think it is, and then whatever one we hear the most.
We'll do it kind of like how we do like the lookalike contest, where we do one and they cheer, another and they cheer, and we'll see which one's louder. Right? Okay. Hydro City.
Yeah!
Hydrosity.
That's you got it. That's you got it.
Dan's like, yeah.
That was the song name, yeah. We really said that. We really said wow.
We were literally backstage and people sitting there more like this than the crashes.
Did you have Hey Lee, did you get our coffee orders, buddy?
Oh man, this is insane. This dude is just he's one. Their reaction is crazy. He just left and he just left and had a crazy reaction. Look at them. They're literally asking like what the I got he's back. And the reaction is
Hydro City or Hydrosity? How do you pronounce it?
Hydro what?
Hydro City or Hydrosity? How do you pronounce
It's
it?
one word.
It's one word. There's no hyphen, no space.
Hydro City.
man, this is going good. Real good. And they're acting like they get just say everybody getting missed. And they literally got me.
I love you, Lee!
Okay, we're gonna get because we're just gonna have to. Can you guys all say 6, 7?
Come on, say the meme, say it.
You're done. Sorry, we got the 6, 7. We said it, we did it. I did my quota. I'm fine. The internet will explode now.
6, 7 me. I got, but then got that
I
down.
know we just went from like total memes to like super rental stuff.
6, 7 times in my career.
Yeah.
I believe that most of being an actor is being okay with having imposter syndrome, right? Like you are doing your best to create a character from sometimes from nothing, or whatever the writer intended. And I think given the choice for most of us, if they said, hey, do this until you're done and until you feel it's right, we would be in the booth eternally, or be on stage eternally, or be on camera eternally. There's never like there's never like the perfect thing. So acting is exploring and just throwing it out there and hoping it's going to be okay, but being okay with all of that. Like, it's fine to fail, it's fine to be an imposter, that's literally the name of the game, right? So, sorry, none of that was fun.
I would say that, like, the first, I told you my origin story, the first gig that I had. So I went into that session, and the same kind of thing, you're like, what Jason was saying, you're always afraid of saying, maybe I just don't want them to fire me. Like, they'll figure it out at some point. They'll do this. So the first 3 sessions that they had, everyone was chill. They were like, we're gonna order some food. Do you want us to order food? And meanwhile, how many chicken pharmacies? I'm like, no, I don't need any food. I can still keep working. They're like, do you want to take a break? Just let us know when you have to go to the bathroom. I'm like, I never have to go to the bathroom. I am someone who never has to go to the bathroom, and I don't want anything to eat. I just will record everything that you say. Yeah, exactly. And it was really weird. It took a long time to be comfortable enough to feel that. And actually, Rick Stewart gave me my first respect. We were working on stage. I walked into the elevator, and here I was, and I come in. We wouldn't see each other in the booth, so we didn't know that. And even though I was the lead on that project, we would come in through all the time. He was always there, so I had heard his voice the whole time. The first time I walked into an elevator, he was dressed head to toe in black leather, with a black pork pie leather hat on, with his arms like this in the elevator and his feet leaning on. He's like, what's up? Oh my gosh, you must be the real deal. And then I found out he's just
That's so Eric, though.
One of the things I'm really grateful for about having gotten training and education is that they worked you hard, but they taught you how to do it. And those experiences helped me understand that I was capable of doing good work. But it's not just talent. And if you're relying solely on your talent, anybody who's running the world will tell you the same thing. So, but that's quite different than I never wanted a lot of attention. I might dream of, after I got out of college, I'm going to become part of some kind of ensemble company, repertoire company, in local theater, and live a very modest life, but do really good material that people like to know and share my life with. That doesn't really exist to me. It never really existed at all. But like, that's what I was aiming for. As my agent said, oh, you want to go all the way to the middle? But where I do feel like impressed is these generous comments that come across the table, and people endowing me personally with things that they got from stories that I was a part of telling. Right? And I always want to hear what they have to say, But especially the example where people describe that they've gone through a hard time, right? And there's obviously, as you know, inspirational stuff in the stories that we're a part of. And I know what it's like to be helped by a story. That way I go depression to this day from time to time. In my adolescence, it was really, really privileged. And so I get it. But whenever anybody expresses that, it's so important, for me to clarify, first of all, that show may have gotten you through a hard time. Right? But you're the one going through. That should help. But that's you. Anybody who's been through that stuff, only you can get yourself out of it. And those points of light, whatever you call it, they help. But that too is yours. And whether it's, the Sonic stuff or any other stuff, to know that helps, right? But also, I'm just a part of it. Any character I've done, you've done as well or better than somebody else. And that's again another thing that I'm grateful for. This could have been somebody else, right? And luckily it was me, right? So, yeah, but that's the only time I feel like, boy, I don't quite deserve this station I've been put in. I was very often I say, people ask, when I was recording these characters, I was just trying to quiet, just like you know, and look what we're left.
I would love to keep all of these lovely people on this stage for hours and hours and hours, but much like you guys have walked around this convention all day long, and you guys are going to get tired, and you can rest up for tonight. I also would love for you guys to be able to rest up so you can see all these amazing people who rest up. So we just wanted to thank you guys for coming out here and being a part of not just this panel and this group full of people, but this whole convention, and not just this whole convention, but this entire industry, which lets us take something so mundane as a voice and turn it into a level of expression that people completely discover themselves inside. And that's not just how they received it, but how you guys put your hearts and your love into it for them to even take that way. So we couldn't do without you, and we're happy that you're here with us.
We're proud. We're all proud.
Those hours, please go visit them, say hi, say hello, take home a beautiful signature of theirs to remember them in life, so that way, if you're unfortunately not able to come back to these kinds of events, at least you can look at them anytime you're trying to push yourself harder and harder and realize that these guys did it, you can do it, and we'll all do it.
Just let you know I saw him last time at Collecticon. I saw him last time at Collecticon twice. Yeah. That like last year and this year around spring season. Man, I'm done. Say it, say it, say it, say it, say it. Sega! Man, that's good. That was good. Man, I'm definitely saving this.